a free standard 5-star every single year in perpetuity, choosing your stats on an artifact, and a healthier gacha system overall are just a few of the things that crazy-ass Livestream decided to drop on us. Here's a summary of most of the things covered, and I might miss some things because there was a lot. First of all, the banners. Phase 1 is going to be Milani, alongside with Kazuha as the rerun 5-star, and Kachina will be the 4-star, who is also free, by the way. You'll get one copy of her for free. Phase 2, the second half, will be Kanich and Raiden Shogun. As for what the 3 new characters do, I think most of you probably know that by now, but if you're more interested, I would encourage you to go find someone who's actually going to focus on that, because I think the new characters are quite frankly the least interesting thing about this patch. Let's get into what affects everybody. Starting with artifacts. For those of you familiar with Star Rail, in that game you can break down their relics into relic EXP. Well, in Genshin we're going to be able to do that as well. For those of you like myself, this is going to save a ton of room in our inventory. But that is not everything. Self-modeling resin is something that Star Rail has that lets you choose an artifact set, then choose a particular type of artifact like a chess piece, and then you can choose a main stat. Well, Genshin is getting that, but even better. We're going to be able to do the same thing as choose an artifact set, choose the type of artifact you want to make, choose the main stat, but you can also choose 2 substats, which of course for most will be crit and crit. The other 2 substats that will show up on it will of course be random, and probably the fact that if even 2 show up as well, it is very well possible that you could probably get a 3-starter. We don't have the exact details yet, but what we do know, the item that's needed to do this in the first place, the Sanctifying Elixir, can be obtained through exploring Natlan, also the new battle pass, which we will get to later, and apparently salvaging artifacts that are already leveled. So if you have junk artifacts, instead of using them as EXP, you will be able to turn them into these to make artifacts of your choice, leading to a really interesting gameplay loop where you're going to be wanting to farm artifact EXP, just dump it into random artifacts, turn into this stuff, try to get the artifacts of your choice. Now, of course, this is not unlimited as you might have hoped. It does limit how many of each type of artifact you can craft during each cycle, which is presumably battle pass cycle, 42 days. The only other cycle it could possibly be referring to is full version cycle, aka basically 8 patches. I don't think that's the case. So Sanctifying Elixir, the item that allows us to do any of this in the first place. I already mentioned you can break down leveled up artifacts to get this stuff, but how else can you get it? One of the biggest ways is going to be the new battle pass. Now the battle pass is still in most ways still the same battle pass you know and possibly hate or love. I was actually ready to not buy the battle pass anymore because I don't really need many of the things that are on it. However, they were already on top of this and they've revamped the battle pass rewards. Now instead of being forced to rotate through character experience, enhancement ore, and Mora, now we can actually choose 3 of 4 rewards, which are the same original 3 plus artifact experience. And as you know, if you've been playing for a long time, artifact XP is one of the most valuable materials. As I previously said, Sanctifying Elixir will be Sanctifying Elixir will be added as one of the rewards in the battle pass. And in the paid half of the battle pass where talent materials show up, it's no longer going to be based off the newest region and another one of their choice. It will now be a wild card of all of the regions available. Now for a huge one in the Genshin community, the anniversary. Fear not, angry village folk, you can put down your flaming pitchforks and your torches. Hoyoverse has finally conceded. Top of the usual rewards that they give us every year, which includes a very adorable looking pet from the JPEG alone, well, they are also giving us a standard 5-star selector every single year in perpetuity. Not only that, but it also came with the promise that the standard banner will continue to have characters added to it. So Tighnari was not the last one we'll ever see, or well, actually Tia, but they didn't tell us how. So we don't know if they're going to add new characters to the game that are going to end up being standard like Tia and Tighnari, or maybe they're going to migrate some of the older characters into the standard banner. Either way, this is what most people wanted from their dream anniversary rewards. And I mean, there are a lot of people out there who maybe really wanted Kaching, and don't worry, boo, they got you. You're going to get your Kaching, and for free. Hell, in 7 years, you could even have C6, because, well, maybe you'll lose some 50-50s along the way, or maybe you won't, because they're actually doing some kind of vague improvement to the 50-50 system. Sadly, there's really not that many details on it, and it's entirely possible this is purely a visual thing indicating in the wishing animation that you have just won your 50-50. I've rewatched the segment where they revealed it multiple times, and they don't really give much info on it, which does sadly lead me to believe it might just be a visual thing, which is also kind of weird, because it takes a little bit of the guessing and excitement out of wishing if in the opening animation you already know you won the 50-50 or not. I guess if that matters to you, just close your eyes. One thing we do know for sure about improvements of the wishing system though is that the faded points for the weapon banner system is going down from 2 to 1. Not much to say there, just an excellent change. The weapon banner has become a lot more approachable to other people. Now if only that fade point carried over. Now for you other lazy questers like myself, and you maybe haven't done the Fontaine Archon quest yet, don't worry, because in 5.0 when you go to Natlan, you're going to be able to quick start the Archon quest there. Even if you're a new player, all you need to do is get adventure rank 28, complete the Liyue Archon quest, and bam, you can go right to Natlan. And when you get there, you can actually start increasing your maximum stamina, so you don't need to worry about doing that beforehand. World level 9 is something that we're going to be getting as well, increasing the drops that monsters drop, as well as they're also just rebalancing monsters like Nobushi and Spectres, making so the drops just aren't so miserable to farm. World level 9 is also going to make it so that bosses drop a minimum of 3 of their material every time you kill them. I don't know if a 4th one is possible yet, but getting 3 every time is nice. And starting from Natlan onward, things like Statues of the Seven, Shrines of the Depth, and Natlan's offering system similar to the Fountain in Fontaine or the Onion in Sumeru will all be given more rewards, estimating to be a total about an extra 10 pull. On top of that, when you complete the major Archon quest in, I think he said 5.0, 5.1, and 5.3, you're going to get an extra 500 Primo Gems at the end of each of those Archon quests. When you do a story quest for a brand new character in the version that they're released, you are actually going to get all the materials you need to ascend them all the way up to level 60. It's worth noting that in the screenshot, it's not going to give you the Mora and the experience and stuff you need, but as far as boss drops goes and even the elemental crystals and stuff, it's going to give you all that. So that is very nice for building a new character in a new patch. Stellar Reunion, the returning player event, is also getting buffs. On top of everything it used to give, it's also going to give an extra 10 pull worth of wishes. I mean, if you're someone who's, not played Genshin in a long time, this honestly is one of the best times to come back to this game. Or even just start as a brand new player. A lot of good stuff is happening. And we're not even done yet. Local specialties are going to be easier to find with their go-to collect option when you go to them in your inventory. It's going to highlight blue circles on your map that shows, hey, there are some in this area. And if you're worried about them making units like Chi-Chi or Linny a little bit useless with this, don't worry, because it doesn't show you exactly where they are within the circle, just that there are some there. So when you use a character like Linny and this together, you're going to be able to find stuff really easily, even without an interactive map. So I love this feature. Beyond that, there's also the usual stuff you can expect with a new region, like new craftable weapons, new artifact sets. No official details on either, we just know they exist. If you would like to obtain some of these craftable weapons for free, there's going to be a web event where I don't know what you gotta do for it. It seems like you just press a button, and if enough people do, we get the weapons, which is the polearm, the catalyst, and what looks to be the claymore or the sword, either or. As far as web events go, it's probably one of the most generous ones they've ever done. I mean, crafted weapons aren't always the greatest, but hey, free weapons for free-to-play players, this is amazing. And I think that is pretty much everything. I probably missed a couple small things, but I think I got the big stuff. Redemption codes are going to be active for a little bit after this live stream and after this video goes live as usual, and they will be in the pinned comment below. I hope you're excited for Natlan because this is a ton of crazy stuff, some stuff we thought we'd never get, and I am super excited for Natlan. Honestly, more excited for a Genshin patch than I have been in a very long time.
Attaboy!